Sometimes yesterday can seem a million years away, and I'll forget exactly what to say when asked about my past. Time is my enemy.
Hi, I wanted to talk today about something that we've discussed before, or I've discussed on my videos, I think. I'm sure I have. It's about the driving ability of an Alzheimer's patient, dementia, or what have you, and when to know it's time to stop driving. Way back in last year in June, I believe it was, the Alzheimer's Association, one of their counselors was here at the house, and one of the questions that she asked us was if I was still driving, and I said, well, yeah, and she thought it was a good idea that I go to a driving testing place, if you will. It was up in Akron or Canton, I can't really remember, but I indeed did that, and thankfully I passed it, but it had to do with, I never was in a car, but it had to do with my eye and hand coordination, little tests that they did and things like that, and then there was a written test. But just by having that, I don't think it means anything really. But because I've often said that if you're a caregiver or a family member and you indeed let your loved one drive and they have been diagnosed with dementia or Alzheimer's or anything like that, and they're involved in an accident, I think there's going to be a lot of questions to be answered by the other person's insurance company. People will sue you for anything. And if and when, God forbid, that a patient was involved in an accident and someone got hurt or, like I say, God forbid, killed, and their insurance company finds out, and they will, that this person was diagnosed with Alzheimer's or dementia, hang on to your hat, because I'm telling you, I'm not saying they're going to win or anything like that, but I'll guarantee you there'll be a lawsuit because I think when you, as a patient, drive and you've been diagnosed with Alzheimer's, it's almost, it's almost as close as having a seizure disorder, because you never know. A person that's epileptic, they never know when a seizure is going to happen. They can feel one coming on. Some can, anyway. But, you're going down the highway 60 miles an hour and you start having a grand mal seizure, you got problems. So generally, when you're diagnosed with grand mal seizures or seizure episodes, your license are taken away, unless you're on some kind of medication that does indeed curb these seizures and you haven't had one for years. Now, the same way with Alzheimer's, my attention span is nil, next to nothing. Now, I drive, but I drive here locally. I mean, I hardly, unless I go up to the camper, and our camper's about 15 miles away, but it's only 2 turns. I know exactly where it's at. And I drive locally here 4 or 5 miles, and that's it. But I find myself wondering, my mind wandering while I'm driving. I know that happens, and that's not a good thing. So I've been thinking about this for a long time. But I wanted to do a video today, and I know how difficult it is as a caregiver or family member to take or to have one's driver's license revoked, if you will. When I was in law enforcement, I had to do this not that many times. I would think maybe 3 or 4 times, where an elderly patient was involved in an accident. I mean elderly, like 80 years plus, and it was obvious to me through the investigation that this person probably shouldn't have been driving. So we had forms at the police department that filled out as a police officer. You send them to the person's physician requesting that they be checked by them and the Bureau of Motor Vehicles. That takes the family members out of the equation. That way the patient's mad at me. I don't even know them, so I don't care. But I'd much rather have a patient be mad at me or an elderly person be mad at me than hit somebody and hurt themselves or someone else. I know driving is a privilege, but for some older people that are on their own, it's their only way of transportation, obviously. And once you take someone's driving ability away from them, you got to make sure that there's plans in place to get this person where they need to go. You can't just say, well, we're going to take Grandpa's license away. He can't drive anymore, and drop by his house once a week or something. That doesn't work either. It's a huge responsibility, is what it is. But it's very important. I keep thinking I'm going to do this, and I never have yet, but I want to call our insurance company and just tell them, hey, I was diagnosed with Alzheimer's about a year ago or better, and I'm still driving. What do you think of that? I mean, just to see, because I'm a firm believer, even though I'm still with myself pretty much, but if I hit somebody, or if I cause an accident of any kind, I'm pretty sure our insurance company is going to say, wait a minute. We didn't know nothing about this, him having Alzheimer's, being diagnosed officially. And I mean, I can just see that happening. I investigated hundreds of accidents in law enforcement. I'm telling you, that's what these insurance companies do. That's what they get paid to do, is to find reasons for the accident and just sue the pants off the person that's responsible. So it's a very good thing to keep in mind. I mean, I know it's difficult, like I said, but excuse me, what I've told people before is call the patient's doctor, their local doctor, and say, hey, we got to do something about him. So-and-so driving. He's not capable of driving anymore, and I'd like to bring him to your office and have you talk to him about it and say that you're going to have to have him checked by the Bureau of Motor Vehicles, or just write out anything that says he no longer can drive because of his reaction time or whatever. This is the exact time when fiblets come into play. Lie, because I'm telling you, it's much rather lie to the patient that is adamant on driving than letting them drive, because nothing but bad can come out of this. Like I said, if you're involved in an accident, I'll tell you, not last year, but last summer or sometime, I hit a turkey coming down the highway, and I was scared to death. I thought to myself, I was in Phyllis June's car. That's why I was scared to death. But it shattered. The whole windshield come in on me. The turkey didn't, thank goodness. But I thought, well, I wonder if my reaction time would have been better if I don't know. But anyway, I called the sheriff's department and told them I just hit a turkey, and the whole windshield was mashed and laying in on the dash. And they're like, "Well, do you need a squad?" And I'm like, "No, my wife's running the squad. Don't call the squad. I'm not hurt. I just wanted to let you know that this happened, and I didn't want to drive. Didn't want to drive her car home here because, if a sheriff's car or state patrol had seen me driving down the road, I'm guaranteed they'd pull me over and think I was crazy because, like I said, I didn't have a windshield. So they said, yeah, go ahead and don't worry about it. So whatever. I went ahead and did driving home, and we was lucky enough to get it repaired in just a couple of days. But if you're going down the road and some of these patients, they just can't remember where they're at, and they get all miscomboggled and stress and all that stuff, and you're driving down. I mean, it's just not a good thing to. Now, I'm not talking somebody that's in early stages, way early. Like I can drive still. I don't have a problem driving. A lot of people don't understand that, but I know myself better than anybody. And if I couldn't drive, I wouldn't drive. Phyllis June has drove us around for years. Just because of my experience in law enforcement and EMS, I had to drive all the time, and I got sick of it. So anytime we go anywhere, I mean, anytime at all, she drives. And that's been like that way forever, 10, 12 years anyway. I couldn't tell you the last time I've drove when both of us are together. I've drove, and I just don't. She always drives. I mean, she just does. She doesn't mind it, and I'm glad. And it has nothing to do with Alzheimer's. Well, it might now a little bit, I guess, but it has to do with me driving all the time. I just kind of got tired of it. And to be honest, right now, driving is not my forte. It's not like I can go out here and hop on my Jeep and drive 30 miles away. I couldn't do that. I wouldn't do that. And even on these short little jaunts I take, I worry about it. I worry about something happening. But you know, I obey the laws. I don't speed. I stop at the stop signs. Sort of. Yeah. I wanted to tell you this. This is kind of off the subject, but in Ohio here, I'll tell you the truth. I had a young girl riding with me one time during her college time for law enforcement. He was studying criminology, and when she was riding with me, I rolled through a stop sign because we was talking, and I could tell something was the matter with her. I'm like, "What's the matter?" She says, "Well, you just rolled through that stop sign back here." And I said, "Oh, I did?" She's like, "Yeah." And I said, "Well, it was outlined in white." And she's like, "What?" I said, "Well, it's outlined in white. The stop signs in the state of Ohio that are outlined in white are optional. They want you to slow down and look both ways, but you don't have to stop. You just kind of, slide through it if you want." And she's like, "Is that true?" And I'm like, "Well, yeah, it's in the Ohio Revised Code." I never did tell her any different. Well, the gist of the story is, for people that don't live in the United States, I guess, every stop sign in the world in the United States is outlined in white. But I told her, I said, "Yeah, if a stop sign is indeed outlined in white, you don't have to stop, just slow down." So, little humor there. All right, well, I hope I did this video justice on driving. I know it's a tough thing to deal with, but it's much rather have your loved one mad at you or whatever than, man, oh man, they caused an accident. And I'm telling you, I don't care what anybody says, you're going to get sued, or they're going to get sued. And they're probably going to win, because first of all, they're going to subpoena the person in court because of this accident. And what's the attorney going to say? "Well, I don't want them on the stand because they have Alzheimer's. They can't really testify because I don't know if everything they testify would be truthful because of their memory." Hello? Not good. So just a word for thought. Okay, have a good day, and